Hello, and welcome to the Human Development and Family Studies online degree completion program at the University of Wisconsin-Stout. My name is Carly Kidd, and I'm the program advisor for the HDFS online program. I work in conjunction with your program director, Dr. Beth Ann Schreiner, to provide you with support and help in answering advisement-related questions. This tutorial is an orientation to the program and should give you all the information you need in order to prepare you to register for your very first semester. It includes 3 parts. The first part will familiarize you with the requirements of the HDFS program. This includes the general ed requirements, the core class requirements, and the concentration requirements. The second part is to help you understand where you stand relative to those program requirements. That is, all of the coursework that you've already completed, how does that apply to the HDFS requirements, and what do you have left to take? The third part is then to show you how to identify those classes that you do need and how to find, enroll, and register in them for your very first semester. I do want to reassure you that all of this information will be covered again in your HDFS 101 introductory class. So for now, this should be enough to help you get started. I hope you're as excited to be in the program as we are to have you, and I look forward to seeing you very soon in your introductory class, HDFS 101. Let's get into the tutorial. Part 1 of our tutorial is looking at the HDFS program and its requirements. There are 3 components to the HDFS program requirements. The first one is the general education requirement. The second is the core class requirement, and the third is the HDFS student design concentration. We can find these requirements detailed in the program plan. The online program plan can be found when you go to the main Stout website, www.uwstout.edu. From the main menu across the top, choose Academics. Then, down on the left-hand side, please click on Online and Distance Education. Then, we're going to scroll down a little bit, and from the right-hand side, we're going to choose the top blue box that says Undergraduate Programs. Now we're going to see a list of all of the undergraduate programs that are offered at UW-Stout, whether that be on campus or online. We're going to scroll down and we're going to search for BS or Bachelor of Science in Human Development and Family Studies. We are now at the main website for Human Development and Family Studies. This includes on-campus or online students. You will see that we have 2 program directors here, one for on-campus and one for online students. Your program director is Dr. Beth Ann Schreiner as the online program director. This website has plenty of good information on it. Take a look at it sometime. But for now, we're searching for the program plan, and to find that, scroll down as I have here to where it says Program Overview or View Curriculum, and we're going to click on that. Okay. This page is going to outline the program plan for us for Human Development and Family Studies. It starts with a brief introduction about the field of HDFS. Then it moves into some general education some general requirements for credits for earning a Bachelor of Science degree. The total credits that you need for graduation are 120. Now, many of you are transfer students and you are bringing in many credits already. Some of those credits are going to be able to be used towards the program, but some of them may not. And so you are very likely to graduate with more than 120 credits at the end of your time at UW-Stout, and that's okay. When we break down those 120 credits, 43 of those are in general education, 62 of those are your major studies or your HDFS classes, and 15 of those are your concentration or your minor. We will talk about that a little bit later on. Now first we're going to move into the program requirements, and we're going to start with the general education. The first category in general education is racial and ethnic studies. In racial and ethnic studies, all students need 6 credits to graduate. There are a couple of different ways that you can meet this requirement, and we'll talk more about this a little bit later because this category is a little bit different. This racial and ethnic studies area and also the global perspectives area are both 2 category requirements that can actually be met by courses that you're going to need to take anyway for your other general ed areas and your core classes. So for now, we're just going to scroll past these 2 categories and begin with the rest of the general education requirements. This next general education requirement is called communication skills. In this area, all students need 9 credits. This is going to be your English and speech classes. English 101, English 102, and Communications 100, or Fundamentals of Speech. Some of you may have transferred in some of these classes, but if you haven't, this is going to be an area that you're going to need to take more classes in. These courses are all offered online. The next general education area is analytical reasoning and natural sciences. This is basically math and science put together. In this area, all students need 10 credits. This can be made up however you like, as long as you have at least one math and one analytical reasoning class and at least one natural science class with a lab. Beyond that, you can fill the rest of the 10 credits however you like. We do advise students to take Stat 130 to fulfill the math requirement. This is a 2-credit class that's offered year-round, even during winterm. You have to have at least one math and one science with a lab. The next category in general ed is called Arts and Humanities. Each student needs 6 credits in this area. That works out to 2 courses. It's important to note that these courses must be from 2 or more areas. You'll see the different areas listed across the top. For example, history and music, theater appreciation, creative performing arts, foreign language and culture, history, literature, and philosophy. So for example, you could take 1 art and 1 foreign language class, or 1 history and 1 music class. But you may not take 2 philosophy classes or 2 history classes. If you have, you will be asked to take another course in here from a different category in order to satisfy the arts and humanities category. The next general education category is called social and behavioral sciences. And in this area, UW Stout and the HDFS program have outlined exactly the 3 courses that you'll need to take in order to meet your 9 credits for this category. All students will take an American Government class, Political Science 210. We'll also take Psychology 110, which is General Psychology, and Sociology 110, Introductory Sociology. That will give you the 9 credits that you will need and will satisfy this category for you. The next general education area is called Cross-Disciplinary Issues. All students need 3 credits in this area, and there are a few different classes that you can choose from, which are each 3 credits, and we'll go through your options a little bit later in this tutorial. So just keep in mind, if on your advisement report you see that this is not yet satisfied, you will need to take a course here. The next general education category is called Social Responsibility and Ethical Reasoning. Again, all students need 1 3-credit class in this area. If you've not yet taken a class here, or if it's not transferred in for you, then you'll need to add this to your list of classes to take. And the last general ed area here is called selectives. This is just like electives. You can choose 1 additional general ed class from the general ed course offering grid that I'll show you a little bit later to satisfy this area. Some of you transfer students may have a class that counts here if you've taken a class that was deemed general ed. It will be auto-populated in your academic advisement report. But if not, then you will just pick 1 additional class to take and put it in this selective area. Okay, that wraps up all of the general ed requirements. You'll see that there's a change in heading here, and it now says Major Studies 62 credits. All students need to complete the above general ed classes that we just talked about, but they also need to complete the core classes. The core classes are the ones that are listed here under Major Studies. They begin with HDFS 101, Introduction to Human Development and Family Studies, move through other 100 level, 200, 300 level classes, and eventually get to our highest level 400 classes, ending with HDFS 490 and 491, which is your internship. And also we have 1 psychology course, Psych 361, which is abnormal psychology. Overall, there are 62 credits required for your major studies area. You may have some of these already finished if you transferred them in, depending on your background at your previous school. But just know that you will need to take all of these courses. They're all required in order to get your bachelor's degree in this area. All right, the last piece here on this online program plan document is what is called a student-designed concentration, certification, or minor for 15 credits. We're going to go over this in more detail in part 3 of the tutorial, but for right now, I just wanted to highlight it. Again, this is a very important page that I suggest printing out and keeping with you to help you track your progress through the program as you continue. Semester by semester, you'll see that this is going to match up with your academic advisement report, which we'll also go over in part 2 in terms of how it lays out exactly what is required to graduate. But it's just nice to see everything all on one page too. So that is the Human Development and Family Studies program plan. That is exactly what students need to do in order to graduate with a bachelor's degree in HDFS. And that is it for this page. So let's move on to part 2. When you transfer to the HDFS program, you likely received a credit transfer report. However, that is not the best way to find where you stand in the program relative to the requirements. That report simply says which of your classes transferred to UW-Stout. What you want instead is the Academic Advisement Report. The Academic Advisement Report places all of your previous coursework into the HDFS requirements so that you can see which requirements are already satisfied and which you have left to take. I'm going to guide you through how to find that now. So we're going to go back to the home page. So this is the UW-Stout homepage, www.uwstout.edu. Across the top here, you'll see a ribbon of options. Click in the upper right, click on Logins. Then across the top, you're going to see more options. I'd like you to click on Access Stout. And here, you're going to want to log in with your Stout username, email, and password, and sign on in. Now, from here on out, some of our screens may look a little bit different because I'm not a student within the HDFS program, but I'm going to do my best to help you get to the next part, which is the Student Center. So you are going to want to click on Self-Service. Now again, my self-service looks a little bit different, but you should see an option that says Student Center. And we are going to go look for your academic advisement report so that we can see exactly how far you are towards the program requirements. If you don't see something on this screen called Student Center, you can also get there by clicking on this link right here called My Academic Requirements. Now, as I mentioned before, as I'm not a student, my page here, it says my name here, and my academic requirements isn't going to show anything since I'm not a student, but yours should. So I'm going to get to mine where I can look at an academic advisement report in a little bit of a different way. So I have been able to log in to a sample student here and view this student's Student Center. And to get to your academic advisement report, you're going to want to click on this drop box here and go to the top here that says Academic Requirements. This is another way that you can access your report via Student Center. Okay, so the first thing that we are going to do now that we've gotten to this academic advisement report is I want you to hit this button right in the middle here that says Expand All. Now you're not going to see anything that obviously changes on the page, but what that's going to do is open up all of the text and all the information underneath these dark blue boxes. And that's going to be important for us as we move through this. So the very first section is called General Information for Students. You can go ahead and take a look at this at another time on your own time. It's not going to be super critical for what we need to go through right now. The next dark blue header is called University Requirements for Graduation. Now we're going to start to get into some of the meat and potatoes of what is required for graduation with a Bachelor of Science degree in Human Development and Family Services. The first lighter blue category that we're going to see is the university credit requirement for graduation. This is going to tell us how many credits are needed in order to graduate. So overall, each student is going to need 120 credits in order to graduate. In this case, this student needs 120, has already taken 68 credits, and needs 52 credits more. However, I want you to take this piece of information with a grain of salt, and here's why. Each one of you is coming in with your own unique course history from the school that you were previously at. And the credits that you've taken that have transferred in is reflected in this middle number right here. And however, not all of those courses are necessarily going to fit, or all of those credits aren't necessarily going to fit into a specific category here. And we'll see some of that a little bit later on in this report. So you very likely are going to end up actually graduating with more than 120 credits when you are all said and done. And that is very typical and normal of our transfer students. The next category is a GPA requirement category for graduation. This is going to tell us here that in order to graduate with a Bachelor of Science degree from the University of Wisconsin-Stout, you must have a 2.0 GPA. This is overall for all of your courses, general eds, major, and concentration classes. The next thing that we're going to look at is going to start to get us into what is required for your general ed and core courses in Bachelor of Science, Human Development, and Family Studies. CI here stands for Customized Instruction. That means the online program. And 2017 means that is the current program year that we are operating under based on when you were admitted to the program. So we're going to start getting into some general ed requirements. So the very first requirement is racial and ethnic studies. If you remember from earlier in this tutorial when we were going through the program plan, I mentioned that this category, racial and ethnic studies, as well as the next category, global perspectives, are both a little bit special and different. And the reason that they are is because there are some other general ed courses and one HDFS core course that are going to essentially double count for you that will help you to satisfy this category. So with this sample student, you can see that this student already transferred in an HDFS 335 course, which is Critical Cultural Competence. This is a course that is required in your core studies, and it will also double count for this student in racial and ethnic studies. So she already has 3 credits satisfied in this area, and she needs 3 more. Now, in this category, there is a second class that is going to do the same thing. Now, this student hasn't taken this course yet, but later on as a general ed for social and behavioral sciences, all students in the HDFS program are going to need to take Political Science 210. That will count under the category Social and Behavioral Sciences. It will also count here under the Racial and Ethnic Studies requirement. So for this student, no additional courses are going to need to be taken to change this not satisfied to satisfied as she moves through the program. The next category is similar as to the previous one, this Global Perspectives requirement. There is one course, and this student already has this course, which is Sociology 110, that will double count for all of our students. So Sociology 110 is another course that is required in the general eds for social and behavioral sciences, and it is going to double count also in the Global Perspectives requirement. So under this requirement, 6 credits are required. 3 have already been taken, and that is the Sociology 110, and 3 more are needed. So this student is going to need to find one more class in the General Ed's course grid that will count as a Global Perspectives course to be able to satisfy this requirement. The next general education requirement is communication skills. This is basically your English and speech courses. So this student, for the first one, is her first category is satisfied in that she transferred in an English 101 course for 3 credits. The second part of this category is an English 102 requirement. This student also has this course transferred in, so this English 102 for her is satisfied. The last component of the communications category is a speech course. This student also transferred in a Communication 100 class, Fundamentals of Speech, so this is also satisfied for this student. So the 9 credits that are needed for communication skills for this student are already complete. Again, if you are missing one of these courses, maybe you're missing English 102, that would be a course that you would need to take in order to satisfy the communication skills requirement. The next category for general education is analytical reasoning and natural science. This is basically your math and sciences put into a single category. In this category, 10 credits are required. Now this student has 3 already taken, so she needs 7 more. The class that she transferred in is a math elective course. So this didn't match up exactly with something that UW Stout offers, but they felt that it was comparable enough for her to be able to have met these 3 credits and have it count in this general ed category. So she's got this math elective for 3 credits already taken here. So she needs 7 more credits. Now, if you look up here at the top of this top paragraph, this is going to tell you that you need to have at least 1 math or statistics course and a natural science course with a lab are required. So as long as you've taken 1 math course, 1 science with a lab course, you can fill any other additional credits that are needed in any way that you choose under math or science. So this student has the math part satisfied, but then as we scroll down and look at the natural sciences with a lab, she does not have those satisfied yet. So this student is going to need to take a science course with a lab. That is generally a 4-credit course, so that would take her up to 7 credits. She would still have 3 remaining, so she'll need to take an additional math course or an additional science course in order to satisfy those 3 final credits. Moving on to the next category. The next category is humanities and the arts. In this case, these courses must be from 2 or more areas, including art, history, music appreciation, creative and performing arts, history, literature, philosophy, and foreign language and culture. 6 total credits are required. This student hasn't taken any yet, so this student is going to need to take 6 credits. Now, so I talked about how they need to be from 2 or more areas. Let me explain that a little bit. So this student, you could take 1 music appreciation class and 1 history class to satisfy this category. Or you could take a literature class and a philosophy class to satisfy. However, if you took 2 philosophy courses or 2 history courses, that would not satisfy this category, as they must be from 2 or more different areas. Moving on to the next category, which is social and behavioral sciences. UW Stout and the HDFS program have gotten together and have prescribed exactly the 3 courses that our HDFS students must take in order to satisfy this general education category. And those 3 courses are Psychology 110, Sociology 110, and Political Science 210. As you can see, this student does not have this category satisfied quite yet, but she's close. She did transfer in a Psychology 110 and a Sociology 110 course. So this student will simply need to take Political Science 210 in order to satisfy this category. And if you remember, Political Science 210 is also one of the courses that up above will also finish satisfying the Racial and Ethnic Studies category. Moving on, the next general education category is cross-disciplinary issues. Each student must take 3 credits, which is going to be 1 course. There are several that you can choose from. You'll simply need to take a look at the general ed course offering grid that was sent to you via email, and you'll be able to decide and figure out which course that you would like to take to satisfy this cross-disciplinary issues category. The same thing will go for the following category, the next one, which is called Social Responsibility and Ethical Reasoning. Again, 3 credits are required. This student does not have any that transferred in, so she still needs 1 3-credit course here. Again, please take a look at the general education course offering grid that was emailed to you, and you can choose from the Social Responsibility and Ethical Reasoning category to satisfy this requirement. The last general education requirement is something that's called selectives. This is just another word for electives. Some students and some of you may have transferred in a general education elective course that would help to satisfy this last category. This student has not. So you will be able to choose any 3 credits from an online course in anthropology, economics, geography, political science, psychology, and or sociology. And again, you'll be able to find one of those course offerings on the general studies grid. Now that we've gone over and detailed all of the general education requirements, we are going to move into the major core requirements for human development and family studies. As you can see here, there are 51 credits required here in this next section of HDFS classes. This student was able to transfer in 6 courses based off of her previous coursework at her previous school. So it says 45 additional ones are needed. So there are 19 courses that are required. So if you look at this chart right here, you'll actually only see that there are 10 listed. If you click on View All, that is going to show us then all 19 of the courses that are needed in the core HDFS courses. Now, they are going to start at the top with your intro classes, HDFS 101, Intro to HDFS, 1 credit course. Then they are going to move down generally in order from lowest level classes to your highest level classes, ending with abnormal psychology, Psych 361, and HDFS 490, which is professional issues in HDFS. This class is generally taken in your second to last semester, and it is a prerequisite to being able to take HDFS 491, which is your internship, which you will take your last semester. You are generally going to want to take these courses here in the order that they're listed. That doesn't have to happen exactly, but I want you to notice, and the reason I'm saying this is because some of these courses are prerequisites to other courses. Specifically, some of these, especially the human development courses, for example, HDFS 124 is a prerequisite for some of the higher level human development courses. So those are your HDFS courses, your HDFS internship, and then the next thing is your certification, concentration, or minor. Now, I'm going to talk about this a little bit here. First of all, most of our students for our online program are going to do what's called a student-designed concentration. Now, that's a little different from a minor. If you are an on-campus student, the university would want you and ask you to do a minor. Those courses are generally only offered on campus and need to be taken on campus. So because you are an online student, you are going to do something a little bit different. Most of our students, again, do what's called a student-designed concentration. A concentration allows you to use your previous coursework from your previous university, that courses you have transferred in that aren't necessarily being able to be used to satisfy a different category up above. So for example, with this student, you can see that in this student's free electives, she has 30 credits here that transferred in. Now these courses were deemed to not fit exactly another course that UW Stout offers, and so that's why it's coming in here and it says HDFS XXX, and it's considered, they're just calling it a family life elective, 3 credits. As you can see, this student has many of those, totaling 30 credits. And what we can do is we can fill out some paperwork with the student's permission, and we can take up 15 of these credits and ask them to be transferred up here to satisfy this student-designed concentration. What this means is that in order to satisfy this category, you are hopefully not going to need to take any additional courses to satisfy this. Hopefully we'll be able to use some of your previous coursework. If you don't transfer in enough credits, then we would potentially have to look at you taking some additional coursework in order to satisfy your concentration. This next category here is electives. Electives, there are 6 required, and as we've already seen, this student has 30. So even if we take 15 of her credits here and ask them to be moved up here into the concentration, she will still have 15 credits left here, which more than enough still satisfies the free electives requirement. This next requirement has to do with a grade point average. So This is in the HDFS specifically, the HDFS courses. GPA must be at least 2.5 in order to apply for your internship and to graduate. So I want you to keep that in the back of your mind as you work through your courses. Make sure that you're keeping your GPA high enough. A 2.5 is about a C+ average. So make sure that you just kind of keep that in the back of your mind as you're moving through your courses, because in order to apply for your internship, your GPA will need to be a 2.5. If it is not, there are no exceptions made to this, and we would require this student to go back and retake one or more of their courses to get a better grade in order to raise their GPA. This very last section is not necessarily a requirement, but what it does is going to list out other courses that did transfer into UW Stout, but were not able to be used in any manner towards the into any of the categories. So these are just extra transfer courses that were not used towards degree. These courses can also again be used to satisfy the above concentration if needed. So that is it for your advisement report. This is a very long document with lots of information, but once you get used to it, it is an awesome planning tool for future semesters. Also know that it auto-populates on its own and will turn over to say satisfied in the various areas once they're complete. So using your program plan, that's the thing that we went over in the first part of the tutorial, this document and the course offerings grids, you should be ready to enroll in your first semester. That's it for your advisement report. Let's move on to part 3, which is how to identify, select, and enroll in the classes that you want to take for your first semester. Okay, so to register for courses, we are going to need to get back into Access Stout. So if you need to remember how to do that, you're going to go back to the main UW Stout webpage at www.uwstout.edu. You would go to Logins, Access Stout, and then you're going to log in with your username and password. Again, your screen may look a little bit different from mine, and that's okay. I just have more permissions than you as a advisor. So you would want to get to self-service, search, and we're going to do a class search. Now I'm going to go over this, the different criteria here that we're going to use. We are not going to necessarily address every single drop-down box here in order to find the classes that we want to register for. So for institution, you're going to leave that alone at UW Stout. Then you're going to choose the term that you are looking to enroll in. In this case, fall 2018 is what I'm going to choose. Then I want you to check the box for customized instruction. This is going to then, when we search, bring only up classes that are available to you online. There's no point in you looking for courses that may be offered on campus. I don't want you to have to try to sift through which ones are offered on campus and which ones are offered online. By clicking this box, it will just bring us back the ones that are offered online. So let's say that we want to register for your first semester, and the first class that you'd like to take is HDFS 101. So for subject here, we are going to scroll down. These are alphabetical until we find HDFS. We're going to highlight that, Human Development and Family Studies. We are going to skip over the course number, so we're just going to leave that blank. Under Course Career, I'd like you to click Undergraduate. And then the last thing we're going to do before we search is we're going to uncheck this box that says Show Open Classes Only. And the reason we're going to do this is because sometimes maybe you're wanting to register for a class, but it's full, and or maybe it has a wait list and you would be able to get on that wait list. So I want to see all the classes, whether they're available, full, or have a wait list. So I'm going to finish scrolling down and I'm going to click on Search. Now, what returned for me with my search criteria is I am finding 16 classes. And my very first class that I found is HDFS 101. Now, again, because I'm not a student, I am unable to enroll in classes. So my screen here is going to look a little bit different for yours, and this is as far as I can go. But here's how it works. So here's this HDFS 101 class. You are going to find a spot here where you can click a box that says Select. Then you would scroll down, I believe, until you would get to where a button that says Next. Once you get to after you hit next, it is going to tell you that that course, HDFS 101, has been added to your shopping cart. And from here on out, I want you just to pretend like you're shopping at Amazon. You are going to go to your shopping cart and essentially check out with the courses that you've added to your shopping cart. So find your shopping cart and go into it. And you're going to find in this case that you've added HDFS 101. And you're going to select that class and click on the button that says Enroll. That should take you to one more screen where you're going to need to click on a button that says Finalize Enrollment. Once you do that, you should get a message back saying that your enrollment has been finalized and you are enrolled in HDFS 101. If you would like to, you could go back to your academic advisement report at this point, and you will see that your registration has been successful in registering for HDFS 101. And you can go back, you can click on a new search and search for a new class. So again, this would be fall 2018, customized instruction. And maybe this time you want to register for a sociology class. And you could scroll down and you could find SOC for sociology. Course career again is going to be undergraduate. And we want to see all the courses, whether they're full or not. And click search. And here we go. Sociology 110. So this shows us status is green, meaning that it's open. So if you wanted, you could go ahead then and select and enroll in this course. So you can continue in that manner until you've been able to register for all the courses that you want to be able to register for. And then after you're done registering, the last thing that you're going to want to do is you are going to want to go ahead and order textbooks for this class, for your classes that you've registered for. UW Stout has a textbook rental program that is included in your tuition, and there is a form that you can go online and fill out. Now, you could go to the Stout website and just search for textbook rental, and you'd be able to find that page. We also have links available to you that Dr. Schreiner sent to you in your welcome email, into the welcome to the HDFS program email that you can find. And otherwise, if you still can't find it, you're always welcome to email me at any time and ask for that textbook rental page form that you would fill out. And then once you fill that out and submit it, someone in the textbook department would look up your classes that you're registered for, and they would say, they would just look and see which textbooks you need, and they would mail them to you. Very slick. And once you are done with that, then it's just kind of waiting until the first day of classes to start. There are two last things that I want to show you what they look like that Dr. Schreiner included in her welcome email, and that is the General Education Online Course Selections grid. So this grid that you're seeing here shows you all of the different courses that are available for our online students that will help you to meet all of the different category requirements. So for example, if you need to take a communication skills class, it shows you the 3 courses that are available, either Communications 100, English 101, or English 102. And moving on down the grid, you've got your math and science courses here. These would be your various arts and humanities courses, social and behavioral sciences courses. So you've got your psychology 110, sociology 110, political science 210. Those are the 3 that are required for HDFS. This next category, you have cross-disciplinary issues, social responsibility, and ethical reasoning. And then you will also notice that after the names of these courses are these little red letters. What this tells you is that these also satisfy potentially other areas. So for example, let's take a look here at WGS, which is Women and Gender Studies 210, Intro to Women and Gender Studies. This would satisfy as a cross-disciplinary issues course. And if we look at the letters afterwards, we would also see that it also satisfies Racial and Ethnic Studies A or Global Perspectives. So these little letters after are also going to be helpful in telling you other categories that this course can also offer. The other thing to notice on this grid is it will show you across the top the different terms going out to spring 2021 and show you when all of these classes are offered. So for example, let's just take a look at this very first class, Fundamentals of Speech. You can see that Fundamentals of Speech will be offered in the spring of 2018, not in the summer, fall 2018, not in winterm, spring 2019, not in the summer, and so on and so forth. You will see that there are some courses that are only offered at certain terms but not other terms. So you're going to want to pay close attention to that as you plan your semesters at UW Stout. I'm also going to go ahead and pull up the similar grid for the HDFS specific courses and show you what that looks like. Now this screen is going to show you the HDFS online course offering schedule beginning in 2018 and going out indefinitely at this point. However, this is always available to be changed at any point by the staff if needed. And of course, you would be notified of that. So this is going to give you all the HDFS core classes. So if we take a look at HDFS 101, you will see that it is offered in fall, and in spring, and in summer. One thing you'll notice on here is that you will not see winterm. That is because none of the core HDFS courses are offered during the winter term. So one thing I do want to mention on here and that you'll see is that you see this fall A, fall B, spring B. So previously, the program was attempting to try to break each semester up into 2 8-week terms. So they called it Fall A and Fall B. But it was found not to be most effective for learning for our students, and both our students and our staff preferred to go back to a full 16-week semester. So we are kind of in a interim period right now where some of our courses are still offered as 8-week courses with the Fall A, Fall B, or Spring A, Spring B. And some of them are back to being offered as just full 16-week courses. And how we've chosen to do that is that our intro level classes, so our 100 and mostly our 200 level courses, are starting back to 16-week courses. And then some of our higher level courses in our 300 and 400 level courses are still A and B, meaning 8-week courses. The plan is that by fall 2019, that will be phased out and all courses will be back to full 16-week semesters. And so if you are just starting in the program fall 2018 or afterwards, you can essentially just ignore this A or B for fall or spring because you will not have progressed far enough into the program to get to the point where you're going to take any of the courses that are 8 weeks with A or B. So you can just plan on knowing that Intro to HDFS is offered in the fall and the spring. Same for HDFS 115, same for HDFS 124. You will see that there are some courses, like this one right here, 225, says it's available fall B. So again, you can just ignore the A and the B for now. You will see that there are some classes that are offered during the summer, but they are limited. So make sure that you plan your program plan accordingly, that if you are wanting to take a course in the summer, that you make sure that A, it's available in the summer, and that you don't plan on taking it during either a fall or spring semester, and you can save that for a summer course. So that is the HDFS online course offering schedule. Thank you so much for viewing this video tutorial. I hope that it got you on the right path for understanding your program requirements and knowing exactly which classes you have left to take and how to enroll in them. Upon admittance to the program, you should have received an email from Dr. Schreiner with my contact information, and that also includes a link to sign up for advisement in case you have questions that you want to go over with me one-on-one. I look forward to talking with you more in your first class, HDFS 101, and I just want to say again, welcome to the program. We're so happy to have you as part of the HDFS program at UW Stout.